Everything's going.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Trey.
Hey, so I'm just curious what you think of your start. It feels like, the first day you guys just went out there almost like you hadn't missed a beat. What do you think of the start that you've had, and then today being a little bit more of a physical practice?
Yeah, we challenged them about this week. Obviously we're going on spring break. We chose to do it, Trey, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so we could clean up the film and not keep the kids Friday afternoon, which would be their start of spring break. I was a little nervous about that. I thought it went well. I'm with you. I thought Sunday it looked like we had been practicing for a while. But we didn't do hardly any throwing and catching. They may have a little bit on their own, but we threw and caught the ball pretty well, I thought, early. Our goal was to have the three best practices we possibly could have, and I think we did that. Today was a little more physical. I think we have to continue to understand injuries and if I'm hurt, I think we got to play a little tougher. But the physicality of the practice is certainly there. We thudded today, and I thought we thudded hard. I thought they ran through tackles or thud, and our backs ran through that and receivers. So I was really, really pleased with our first 3 days and where we're progressing. I'm really excited about our two young coaches, or our two new ones with Deke Adams, Dominique Bowman. I think both of them are adding something to our program. And I think you can talk to the kids and they believe that as well. But I think we're getting better at those two positions. A lot of it is strength and conditioning from Jamil, but a lot of it is also coaching.
Your thoughts on the newcomers? You got 16 scholarship freshmen, and a lot of those guys are right in there with the second team and stuff. Just jumping right in.
I think that's the beauty of how we practice, Trey, is that if you're a freshman, you're going to get an opportunity, especially in the spring, to play for us. We're going to find out what you can do. I like the two young tackles. I think they've done a nice job for us offensively. I'm really been impressed with DeBinion. I think DeBinion's a good football player. I think he can be an excellent football player. Tyrus Washington's coming on each and every day. And then you go, excuse me, you go over on the D line, and I think the guy that hadn't played a lot, Cam Ball, is playing some good ball over there. I'm talking about the young guys in the secondary. You have Jalen Lewis, who's looked good, and certainly Jordan Crook is the one that's really stood out on defense. Caden Henley made some plays today as well. And then, you have your portal guys that certainly we believe are going to help us tremendously on defense. We had needs that we thought we needed to go find. And as of right now, I can honestly tell you, we didn't sign a dud. You know what I mean? We signed a guy that's going to compete for a starting job, if not start. I think you've been to practice. I'm sure you would agree with me.
So I don't know how long this rule's been in place where you can do the walkthroughs, but that clearly has meant something to you guys, because even the freshmen, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of asking for assignments and things like that. Can you maybe talk about how long has that been in place, and how big was it for you?
Well, we used 3 weeks of it, 2 hours a week, which you could have film study and you could have walk. And so we used 3 weeks of it. Now, normally, probably most people did 4. Tell you what, Tom, we don't do 7-on-7 and all that stuff. I'm saying on their own. We don't organize that and all that stuff. That our philosophy, Tom, is if we can go out and have 15 good practices in the spring, then that's what we want. So what happens is that to me, if there's a lot of 7-on-7 and a lot of 1-on-1 pass pro on their own and all that stuff before you start spring ball, it's hard to get 15 solid practices out of the guys because they're burnt out. By that time, it's week 8 and 9 of the season with no bye week. And so I do think we learned a lot in the COVID, Tom, whenever we were doing our walks. in COVID when the NCAA finally, they decided to let us do that in the summer. And certainly the way that we walk through situational football, with a defensive look or an offensive look. And it certainly helped us. I think you saw that, and it certainly has helped us because we're not having a lot of missed assignments. Doesn't matter whether it's an older guy or a younger guy. It says a lot about the teaching ability of our assistant coaches. Excuse me for interrupting.
Okay. Yeah, and what do you think of Marcus Henderson at center? He got a little bit more first team work today.
Yeah, and that's something. I think we found his position. Ricky's banged up a little bit, and nothing serious, but banged up. He'll be back after the break. But to get those reps, that's what spring ball is about. To find a guy that you think, he had a couple of some snap problems there early in practice today, but we haven't had much of that. And for him to go in and finish yesterday's practice and then come in today, what he's doing, he's building confidence, but more importantly, probably he's building, his teammates are confident in him now. But I think he's done a nice job. I think we finally found a place where he doesn't have to be 320 pounds, but he has to be quick and have good leverage. And I think we finally found his place.
And then just kind of from the upper point of view, the high level point of view, what through 3 days has stood out to you? Guys who flashed, things that you've done well, and maybe some areas that you're going to concentrate when you come back.
Yeah, I think we've gotten much better on the D line with intensity, with hand placement. Linebackers, obviously, you have Bumper there, but I think we found something with Drew Sanders, Drew Paul, and I love Jordan Crook. I think he's going to be a really good player for us. Secondary wise, I think our kids have really taken to Coach Bowman. And, guys like Keywan Parker, who we haven't really, said a whole lot. Jaden Johnson now is playing faster because he knows exactly what he's doing. Dwight McLaughlin is long and talented. But I think we've got better leadership. Obviously, I think you probably can feel it too at practice. There's an air out there that if we'll work, that we have an opportunity to have a pretty good ball club. I've been very excited about Cade Fortin. I think Cade's come in and done a really good job at quarterback. So we've got to continue to be able to run the football. Third down was our first time today. We didn't protect the quarterback quite as well as we should. And a lot of that is we're not getting open. 7-on-7, we had a hard time getting open. And so we've got to work on those things.
Okay.
Otis?
Hey, Sam. I know it's 3 practices, but how have the backup offensive line looked? I mean, you pretty much had 4 starters back. Then you got Luke Jones out left tackle. We talked to him yesterday. How are the back? I mean, we talked about, I know you asked about Henderson, but how's the backups looking on the offensive line?
I think our number one thing was solidify left tackle. So you talked about Luke. We got Devin Manuel over there. And I think he's doing a good job. He's got a ways to go. He's still got to lose some weight, but I think he's unbelievably talented. Tykees Crawford would probably be the guy that I'm thinking is probably the most improved out of that group. He did a lot with his body. He's playing with confidence. Jalen St. John as well. So those guys would be 4 of those 5 guys. And then, we're doing a lot with Marion Harris. We're moving him from guard to tackle and doing some things. He's played some too. The guy's probably as much improved as anybody as Andrew Chandler. I mean, he's what we found about him. He's a little bit better in team settings than he is in individual right now, which is, to be honest with you, a good thing.
Thanks, Coach.
Nate?
Yeah, Sam, I was curious about your decision not to have a spring game at the end, kind of what goes into that and kind of what you're planning on how you wrap up spring drills with that.
Yeah, Nate, that's a great question. We did have the spring game set for the 23rd. And then there's old boy called Garth Brooks decided to have a concert on the 23rd. So what we did is we moved up we didn't change anything, to be honest with you, Nate. We moved the 16th to, it'll be a better viewing for the fans anyway. We're going to scrimmage, and that was planned as a scrimmage anyway. So we're going to scrimmage on the 16th. We didn't change anything, in all honesty, except we just decided to open up the 16th to the public. And I think they'll get a lot more out of it, because it'll be, you know how spring games are a little bit of show, you know, a little bit of showy. The good players, you're not, you know, you hold them, all that. No, we're going to scrimmage. I think that'll be really good for the fans to see. Then we're going to come back Tuesday, Thursday, and that Saturday. That's Saturday, the last Saturday, the Saturday morning of when Garth Brooks is going to play here. We'll have another scrimmage, but it will be more for the younger guys. Probably take some of the guys that's played a lot of ball and not particular. We'll probably do individual and maybe a group of inside run or something like that, and then probably take the pads off of some of those guys and look at some of our younger guys in the scrimmage setting. That's the reason we changed the spring game date.
Also, I guess Warren Thompson caught a big pass today. Just those transfer guys, where do you look for them when they've been here a second year that you wouldn't expect from their first year?
Well, Nate, do you have a specific? You're talking about who would be that guy?
Well, I guess just in general, when you get a transfer, you look for something differently, after they've adjusted for a year.
Yeah, you know, I think this time, Nate, to be honest with you, we paid a little bit more attention. I mean, not attention. When we went to get guys, we kind of, because last year we went and got the 3D linemen and we lost all of them. You know, we kind of looked a little bit this time in, the portal in. Can we get guys that maybe come back, for the next year or the next year, It's, you're talking about Drew Sanders and Moody, and Dwight McLaughlin and basically almost all the guys. Jaden Hazelwood probably is the one that, certainly probably one and done. But I think there's a lot of improvement there. I think what happens is instead of being a part of the team, they have an opportunity to be leaders of the team in that second year. And we're certainly hoping that's what happens.
Thank you.
All right, let me know if you got more questions. Greg?
Yeah, Sam, you talked a little bit about that second team offensive line, which it might be the biggest offensive line in all of college football, your second group.
Taking after their coach, not Cody, me. I didn't want to.
But that's even factoring in Marcus Henderson, who goes about, he's 287, I think, on the roster. Is that accurate? And where do you want him? Where do you
That's
want him
pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. And, Trey, I like big people, and I think the first time I was here, we had the biggest line in all of football, and they were pretty good too. I think most of them had played in the NFL, and or maybe all of them. That starting five group, but I don't like a sloppy looking guy, but I like a big guy with feet. And you're right, we're huge right now, and probably some of them are a little too big, but I just think you wear on people in the third and fourth quarter, especially with the backs that we have, the style of running game that we run. And then you add in a 240-pound quarterback, into that. And hopefully we wear people down, keep the ball, run it and win ball games that way. So that's kind of always been my philosophy.
Dwight McLaughlin's kind of stood out. He talks a lot. He likes to say a lot. What do you think about his play so far?
I think he's a really good corner. I really do. He got to understand the rules on the team. His mouth runneth over. And if you don't see him at practice, because I told him we don't do that here. And so if you want to talk, go in and talk to yourself in in the locker room, you know. But that's just a habit, you know. He'll break it. He's a wonderful kid, and but he can cover now, and he's long, and we'll get that part out of him. He certainly is a good man-to-man cover guy, and that's why we went and got him.
Last question I got for you. Jaden Johnson looks like he's playing more at safety,
Yeah.
and then Miles Slusher looks like he's more playing nickel
Yeah.
when it was the other way around last year. Is that something you just planned on rotating people in and out, see who fits there?
Yeah, and they're rotating a little bit, and I think it'll be a little bit the same way with Brini. You know, we're playing him at boundary safety, and I think we'll get some. You know, he played nickel at Georgia, and you know, when we recruited him, he wanted to play multiple. He thought it'd help him get drafted, help the team, and so there'll be a point in time when we move him back up and put Slush back at safety some and things of that nature. So, yeah, it's just kind of a rotation right now, trying to figure out the best place for the team for where these guys are playing.
Thanks, Coach.
Wrap us up, Tom.
Come on, Tom.
Yeah, Sam. We saw Hazelwood make a great catch yesterday, and then he ran some first team. Could he be the man?
Well, it's early, Tom, and I think he can be pretty good. He has a different running style. Let me give you, for instance, on the field yesterday, we ran a little toss reverse. I told KB, I said, that's base offense installment, a reverse. I didn't see but like two of them all last year. We're already running reverse second day of practice. But bottom line, he took a reverse and he came around the side and he went north or south. And I was going, I wonder, is he hurt? I don't know how fast he's running. And then whenever I watch it on tape, you know, he's a high school hurdler, a state champion and all those things. He's a little bit more of a long strider, but the yards he was striding were going by really fast, you know, but I watched it on tape. So I think that, you know, he has great hands, things of that nature. I think he'll be a really good player for us. Yes.
Yeah, the defense really reacted when Jaden had a thud up with Rocket, but it put Rocket to the side. How's he going to be?
I think he'll be fine. I mean, he did not return. I mean, obviously, you know, got dizzy, you know, but there's a good thud. I mean, it wasn't nothing cheap, nothing. They just thudded him up front to front. And Rocket, I think, I don't know, I haven't watched it yet, but he probably ducked his head a little bit and got a little bit of, you know, stars going. So as soon as this is over, I'll call down and see how he's doing.
Yeah, and it just seems to me, is your team taking to this? There's a level of physicality we weren't used to seeing prior to 2019. So has the whole team taken to this level of thudding hard and practicing hard?
I think so, and you know, that's what we want. But we have to be smart. I have to look at our rep count because, you know, I cut 6 reps there, 2, 2, and 2, and then another 2, 2, and 2. So I cut 12 reps today. Just, I don't know, I got scared. You know, I mean, you know, we're hitting, and you know, we lost some kids. Either the virus hit us a little bit, not COVID, the flu. Excuse me, flu hit us a little bit this week. You know, so we were down some guys, and I want the 3s to get as many reps as the 1s. I mean, I want to. That's the only way you can develop a team. But we ran a little short today, so being physical is a good thing, though.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. To see you later.